All right, fine. Fine, Yankee, you win. You son of a bitch. I was trying to wait till you were fucking done, and I couldn't wait any longer. We're having a good conversation here, but it's not about that. It's about sharing with the audience, and everyone in the chat's like getting antsy and impatient, and people are dropping super chats over on Yankees chat saying that they want his chat to end so that the gay frog chat can start, which is hilarious, by the way. Thank you for that. But friends, Romans, and Patriots, lend me your ears and strap on your tinfoil hats because it is time for the Gay Frog Chat. The Gay Frog Chat is brought to you by Sorry About Your Ballz Bro Productions. It's a weekly panel discussion where we go chin deep into a different conspiracy. This week, since it's Halloween, happy Halloween, by the way, I thought we would just, have a ghost story type chat. I've got a ghost story, perhaps two, that I could talk about. Everybody else maybe has one, or someone from a friend, or if you guys in the chat have something crazy you want to share, like drop it in the chat or Discord or something. We'll figure it out. I don't know, man. I don't really have a plan for this shit. I'm not a professional. I don't know what's going on. Kind of, whatever. I wish Yankee would stop though, but that's okay. We'll just go in raw and live. That all being said, tonight we're joined by a Duke. How do you do, Sir Duke?
Hey, baby, what's going on? Happy to be here. Excited for the Halloween chat. Special edition. Real excited.
Spooky gay frog chat.
Spooky gay frog.
Spooky ass.
Oh, the spooky.
And we have an angry platypus. A platypus.
What is good?
Have you ever seen a platypus in real life? I have never seen one.
I'm sure I have it like a zoo or something, but I can't recall.
Like, that's not an animal that you see in the wild very often. Like,
No,
where do
'cause I
they
think
even
they
fucking live? It's like South America?
Australia, I think.
Oh, is that where it is?
Yeah.
I don't know shit about platypuses besides it's the one mammal that somehow lays eggs and has poison glands or some shit.
It's a barb, yeah. It's a poison barb on their tail.
Yeah, it's like a mammal had sex with a spider or something. And also a fucking bird, like a duck. Like a duck spider thing.
Yes.
Are there any birds that are poisonous? That have like
Not that I know of.
or anything like that?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure about that one. But yeah, anyone got a ghost story they want to start us off with? You got a ghost story that you heard or something from a friend or some shit that happened or whatever it is?
So, like me personally, I don't have any ghost stories that I can think of. I'm also very much a big skeptic, but I have a couple friends and stuff that have had a couple. There's a place back home in Scranton called the West Mountain Sanatorium, and it's been condemned for decades. But apparently the place is super fucking haunted. So like as kids, a bunch of my friends would go up there all the time. You know, teenagers, and you don't have time to sneak into a bar or something. You go up there and you sneak around. And a couple of them they claim to have been touched or like heard voices or stuff like that. One of my friends went up there with a boyfriend she was with at the time, and they were just kind of creeping around. And so she was in the car, and he's like, "Oh, I forgot something in there. Like I dropped something. I got to go run back in." So he runs back in, and he came out like sweating, like basically on the verge of tears. She's like, "Oh, what happened?" He's like, "I was in there, and something right behind me screamed at me to get out, like a deep, like guttural voice." So he like fucking terrified. But that's really the only ghost stories I have that I can think of off the top of my head.
All right, so there was this one night. It was actually Thanksgiving. It was a Thanksgiving night. And me and my ex went to my dad's house to have dinner, which was always an unpleasant experience. So the sooner we can get out of there, the better. And at that time, she still lived with her parents, and I was living with my sister, right? And therefore, you kind of had to like find a way or go somewhere or do it in the car you know what I mean. So like we went out, we hopped in the car, and we started driving off into the woods, and like not really the woods, just the boony area, like where there's fewer and fewer houses, and you just keep going. And I just made turns. I don't know where I was. Just take a left, take a right, take a left, whatever. This looks good. We'll park here,
Yep.
And we parked, and like we're like put the seat back. We're making out, and she looks out the window, only a couple minutes into it or whatever. She's like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "What is what?" And I look over. And I fucking see. I don't know how to describe it. It was a shadowy figure. Because it was dark outside. I mean, you couldn't see much anyway, but you could definitely see there was a shadowy figure in the dark. And it looked like he was pacing back and forth, like angrily,
Oh.
And I was like, what in the fuck? And she was like, yeah, I don't know, like, let's get out of here. I'm like, okay. And so, like, start fixing the seat and and grabbing the keys and jiggling them to get them in. And I look over, and this thing is running. He stopped, like, fucking pacing back and forth, and he ran up to the car. And I shit you not, dude, I saw this thing go in the window.
Ugh.
And I was like, get the key, fuck. I don't know what it was. She saw it too. She saw the exact same thing. Freaked us both the fuck out. Like, it sounds fucking crazy even talking about it, but we both fucking saw it. I'm not imagining it, And I'm looking in the rear view. I see it chasing the car. Like, I shit you not. I don't know what the fuck this thing was.
Oh,
That's creepy.
But it had hands, and it looked in our window. And the weirdest part about it is, and after other things that I've talked about, this probably won't surprise anybody, but I asked her about it years later, and she doesn't remember. She doesn't remember anything about it.
Seems like she has selective memory.
that's terrifying.
How about you, Duke? You ever have a ghostly visit?
Oh, well, I got one that's somewhat. I got one for you. So back in 2009, I'm in Cali. I'm in the Marines, and we're in these barracks, and there's these barracks are like a motel where it's outside. You know what I mean? You got the room inside, and then it's outside. You know what I'm talking about?
Wait, what? Say it again?
It's a barracks. It's a motel style. I think I'm saying it right, where your room is inside and you walk and you're like outside. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and you got like 2 to 3 guys to a room at this point, and it's and you walk out and there's 3 levels. So think of that motel style, but 3 levels up. There's stairwells on both ends. Anyways, not too relevant to the story, but there you go. So we're living in the barrack style, and these 2 guys, one door down from me, had like a nice stereo system. And they'd always play music, whatever, no big deal. In the middle of the night, it started blaring that Nirvana song, something in the wind. What is it called?
Something's in the way.
Yes. It started blaring that. But they were Hispanic guys, and they like weren't into that music at all. They were into like their own stuff, which was fine, whatever. And it would blare that song so loud that like I could hear it in my barracks room, and it'd be like in the middle of the night, like on like a Tuesday, like nobody's partying like real hard, and it would like freak them out, and they like didn't understand why, and like people would come banging on their door, like shut that shit down, like we're trying to sleep, and it kept doing it, and it kept doing it. Well, it happened again another night, and one of the staff duty, every barracks has like somebody who's in charge, heard it from like the other courtyard and came over and was like, "What the fuck is going on over here?" And the guys were outside the bar, they're freaking out. They don't know what's going on. The stereo, like, it's not like a radio station. It's not a CD in the player. They still don't know what's going on. And this other dude comes over and he's like, "Yeah, that's where a Marine had hung himself in the room to that song."
Oh shit.
Huh.
And like he was freaking out, and he was like a sergeant. And we were all like, these guys were boots, and so nobody really, like, okay, boot freaks out. But this like hardcore sergeant was like freaked out and immediately like talked to the other duty, got the room cleared, made them move rooms that night, and like cordoned off the room and was like, "Yeah, no, we're just gonna we'll move you guys somewhere else right now."
Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, and those guys, like, they were so freaked out. I felt horrible for them. But yeah, it had happened like a couple of years ago, and this guy had been around when it happened, and all of us had never, knew it. But a guy had hung himself. His girlfriend left him or something. He hung himself in the room, and he was blaring that music. And so when they found him, that came. So that song always freaks me out. Anytime I ever hear it, it's got like a real eerie presence to it.
Something's in the way.
And something was in the way. That's what.
Yeah. I love Nirvana, dude. I cried when Kurt Cobain died back in the day. I was just old enough where, like, something happens in your life. You remember being like a teenager, like junior high, and like little things seemed like the big deal.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the dude that I liked that plays music killed himself. It was a pretty big fucking deal.
Yeah.
Ben Jamin says, "I had a shadow figure run around the master bedroom in my grandparents' old house. I thought someone had broken in here. I am 14 years old with a GP 100 clearing the house years ago." Dude, that's crazy. Like, my brother's friend, who we used to hang out with all the time, had this place up in Black Forest, is the name of the area, ironically.
Mm-hmm.
And you go to Black Forest, it's kind of like spooky and eerie anyway, like going out there. Like, it's just, like it's up in the mountains, and especially if you go there at night, the roads are fucking windy and there's ice and snow on the roads and shit. So it's kind of dangerous to even get to this house. And you finally get there, and it's like this giant fucking A-frame house on a hill in the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
And the weird part is, like, if you were on top of that hill and you could jump onto the roof. Right? Because like an animal could make it on there, like a cat or something. Like standing on top of the hill and just get a running start and jump. And so you'd hear fucking like footsteps on the roof in this house.
Nope.
And it would make sense because you're like, well, maybe like an animal got up there or something. And this one night we were hanging out, and we heard like a loud thud on the roof, and then the obvious footsteps of it was a person. It was a person walking around on the roof. And we grabbed flashlights and like a baseball bat, and we ran outside, and we like pointed the flashlight at the roof, and there was nothing there, and there was no footprints and nothing at all. Like, there was snow on the ground and on the roof, so there'd be footprints. Nothing. So we go back inside, and we hear it again. And we were hanging out with these two chicks. The chicks fucking left. They're like, "We're fucking out of here." Like, yeah.
See, that's like that scene in Signs. Remember when they hear somebody around the house, the dog starts barking?
Yeah.
And they're right by the cornfield, and they go out, and then it's like somebody they get up on the roof, and then you're like, "What the fuck?" And they run around the house, and they meet each other, and they're like, "Where the fuck did you go?" Yeah.
Yeah. No thanks.
So, I don't know if it's technically like ghost story related, but do you guys ever get the like the sleep paralysis demon thing?
Nope.
No.
And I'm glad that I haven't, and I'm glad that you have, and you can share it with us. Go on.
So, as a kid, like as a little kid, I used to get it all the time, like constantly. And it's just like I understand it, and like as a kid, it terrified the shit out of me, right? Because I always thought there was a monster in my room. Now, like growing up, I realize it's just part of my brain's asleep while the other part of my brain's waking up. So it's just like I'm stuck between those two zones. But so I only get it maybe once a year now, and that's a big if. where like you'll wake up and you just can't move at all. Like you literally, like you're aware of everything around you, but you just can't move. And actually, it's funny that we're talking about this now because it happened maybe 3 nights ago. And in my dream, like I don't even remember what the dream was about, but like there had been some sort of creature in it. And so I wake up and I'm laying on my side and I can't move my body at all. And I had so wind it back a little bit. My bed sits right next to my desk with my computer chair. And when I had gone to bed that night, I had thrown clothes on my computer chair. So of course, like there's that meme of like clothes in your room at night look like something. So I'm like sleep paralysis mode and I see something sitting in my computer chair at like 1 a.m. and I can't move. And like in my dream part of my brain, like the thing's getting up to like come closer to me. So like I'm trying to punch it and I can't move. All of a sudden my body wakes up. I feel bad for my dog because like I leap out of bed and just like punch my chair, like knock it over and everything. My dog gets up freaking out and I'm like, stupid fucking sleep paralysis. But like it freaks you out, especially when you're younger, like just because it takes a while for your brain to realize like this isn't real. Like this is just all make-believe type shit. But it's freaky as hell because like literally your body can't move, but you can see and feel and hear everything all around you. It's creepy.
Here's the fucking thing. I feel like you've just cursed us all, and now it's all going to happen. It's going to happen to all of us tonight. Just from hearing that fucking story.
So I got a good story for you. This is a true story, 100%.
True story.
Kind of creepy, I would say, in the realm. Okay, so in the 70s, the town that my mom was growing up in, there was a dude that was like raping young girls. Like, and it had been like a rumor, and then it, like the cops were like keeping it hush hush. So it was like, is it really happening? Is it not happening? And then it like came out that it was happening because there was like multiple people collaborated the stories. So anyways, my mom's like 14, 15 years old, and she comes home from school and the door is open, and like they didn't have a car because they lived in town. And so she thought like my grandma was there, and like she gets there, and when she had a closet in her room, that it was one of those old like shutter closets that like you have that you open it up, it's like an accordion in a sense, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
So in that the closet door was broken, so it was always open a little bit, right? It always sat open, just a cracked open because it wouldn't quite latch together. She goes into her room and she like goes like behind the bed, and she's like grabbing something in like a dresser, and she just feels weird. She's got this like feeling like something's wrong in the room, and she looks over and the closet door is shut all the way. And so she looks like she tries to not like freak out, and she was in track. So she like leaps over the bed and runs as fast as she can out the door, slams the door behind her, runs like down the street, looks back, and this dude is coming out of the house.
Oh shit.
That's fucking creepy.
Yeah, and like runs in, gets in some brown car and leaves. And it was that dude.
Shit.
Like she like gave the description, and it fit the description of like the guy who had been doing all these assaults.
That's some Michael Myers shit right
That's-
there.
Yeah. And she's
Dude,
like,
the funny thing is, like, that kind of shit happening back then was publicized and rare. So it seemed like it was happening more kind of like mass shootings or whatever you want to talk about going on today. But it was rare in the sense that as a per capita percentage of the population, there was a very low chance of you actually being the victim of it, even though your mother happened to have potentially been one, right?
yeah.
I wonder what the per capita instance of rape in this country and things like that are today versus back then. It's scary to think about. I mean,
Crime has gone down a lot. Well, it peaked in 92, and it has started to tip back up because of COVID and all the bullshit that's going on right now. But it consistently, like all crime across the board, has gone down, and that's with our population growing significantly since then.
Do you think that like technology has like chilled a bunch of like creepos out? Because
Maybe.
they could like see that my theory is that like people who would have been serial killers just like watch horrible stuff online and live like crazy online lives. Like they can kill people like in a video game, so it tames them to where like
That's
in the
possible.
70s they had to like kill
Yeah,
people.
there was
They had
no outlet.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no outlet. But like now you could live a life online. You could be a whole nother person. You could look at like horrible pictures. And like I'm not saying that's a good thing, but I'm saying it's had to have curbed some people, right?
Maybe. I mean, well,
Possibly.
odds, right? Like odds are yes. Odds are that technology, being what it is today, has been an acceptable outlet for many people, for many things, including that type of shit. Because it's just, again, you're right. Up until, like, when did we really have this outlet that we could use this way? What, mid-2000s, early to mid-2000s? I mean, the 90s, I mean, the internet was a thing. I mean, I remember playing StarCraft and shit, you know, but, like, when it took an hour for a picture to download online, you know what I mean? Like, I would have to think just the odds are that some people have been placated by their ability to have an outlet outside of having to go physically do something if they're fucked in the head. There's all kinds of people that are fucked in the head that find their outlet. It's not just being a serial killer or whatever, right? Like, I'm sure there's all kinds of people that back in the 70s had whatever issue that they have an outlet for it now that they wouldn't have had back then, whatever that issue might be.
Yeah.
Okay, then here's my question. What's the rate of mental psychosis today versus back then?
Oh, it's got to have gone up, I would think.
And then the follow-up question to that is, what happens when the lights go out and their video game that placates them no longer is available, or that video, whatever it is, the video game that they like to play, you know?
Lock yourself in your house with your gun. That's what happens.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's when the lights go out, Susan down the street, who is nice, is bashing your head in for the last can of beans on the shelf. Like that's
or just because she's always wanted to do that and now she can get away with it.
yeah. Like I think you've got a whole slew of monsters that are just placated by Facebook, TV dinners, and Dancing with the Stars.
Did you see this video that I just played, Matt?
I don't know. What is it?
Okay, pay attention this time.
Oh, Molotov cocktail. Okay. All right. Then why did you run in, dumbass? Was that the same guy that ran in?
No.
Okay.
That's the same guy. And then the guy stops him from throwing another one. He got arrested. This is in Brooklyn.
Why? Does it give an explanation? Why was he just mad at the store?
Because he didn't have an outlet anymore.
He owed the mob money.
I don't know. The story doesn't really say anything. I mean, it's just shocking video that shows a man hurling firebomb at a Brooklyn deli on Saturday. He throws a second firebomb, but is interrupted. Joel Magnol was arrested for the attack.
I mean, couldn't he just ask the guy in the deli to toast the bread? He didn't have to go to that length. I mean,
all right, now watch this one. What does this remind you of?
A zombie movie? What the fuck?
This is not a zombie movie.
I said Train to Busan, but
yeah, that's what it looks like.
Like people are stuck in the doorway because they're pushing so hard because they can't get through.
Is the train moving? I can't tell if it's moving.
Train's going.
No, I don't think it is. Look, unless that's no. Is that a reflection through the window?
No, it is. You'll see.
Okay.
But you'll also see why they're running.
Is it a rabid monkey or is this like
a
serial rapist?
Oh my gosh! You see people who've been attacked by monkeys? Have you seen them? Oh, don't look it up. Don't look it up. I saw a lady look like an alien, and I felt bad. Just because you know what monkeys
the fire?
do?
What? Somebody throw what's a fucking fire?
Yeah, there's a fire in the back of the train.
The monkeys go for your
face. Shit!
The monkeys go for your face.
Your eyes and your testicles and penis.
Yep.
That's what they go for.
That guy tried to close the door at least. He was the only guy who tried to do anything.
Well, I think because he was the last one. If somebody else had tried to close the door, he'd be a dick.
Well, yeah, but someone else could have waited there to close the door until everyone got through.
Well, that's true. They need to like stop and get out.
Yeah, you would think that the doors would, like, the train would have like an emergency button that says like, "Fuck emergency, stop the train, open the doors."
I bet you I could get that fucking door open if I needed to.
If I ever have a train car, that's what my emergency button's gonna say. Fuck emergency.
Yeah. Crazy shit.
Jesus.
Happy? Do you have any crazy Halloween type ghost stories or something like that, Matt?
I was thinking, and I couldn't really think of anything. I mean, not any ghost stories, or I've never fucking thought I saw an alien or saw a ghost or
like
anything.
The most that's, like I was telling Honda earlier, like the most that's ever happened. I mean, the sleep paralysis thing, but that's not really. That's whatever. That's more dreams. But like,
so one time I was watching Jeepers Creepers, alone in the dark, with my dog, and I'd never seen it before. And for some reason, I don't know. Like I started you watch a scary movie in the dark, you start getting a little scared. You know, you like.
Well, that's the point. Yes.
yeah,
The dog
hairs on
was
your arms and stuff.
the dog was picking up on the fact that I was scared. Like he was attuned to my emotions, and because I was becoming anxious, he became anxious. I saw him getting anxious, which made me more anxious, which made him more anxious. And then, like, a fucking leaf blows up against the window, and he barks at it and freaks out, and which freaks me out because I'm like, what the fuck are you barking at? You know, like... It was a vicious cycle. I don't think anything was going on besides we were just, you know, feeding off of each other.
That's a good one though. Like, have you guys ever been like walking through the woods alone, or like in a creepy old building alone? Like the hair on your arms start going up, and like you start to feel like the hair on the back of your neck start peaking a little bit. Like,
I don't know. Like water freaks me out. Like if I can't see my feet, like there's sorry, but dark water, or you're in the ocean and you can't see the bottom. You know,
yeah.
like who knows how deep it goes before.
Well, see, for me, that's the exact same feeling. That comes from the exact same feeling that I get when I watch if I watch like really, really well done, well shot space movies where they look down and there's nothing below their feet for eternity. That freaks me out. Yep. The thought of not having something underneath me, not being able to see anything underneath me, that's freaky. I think that's part of why I don't like flying, is because I know how far it is below my feet till the ground or something. I don't know. That's kind of that same mentality. Is it's, you know, the idea of having nothing below you is freaky.
See, that's me. Like lakes and stuff like that, I can swim in. I'm fine. Like, be as deep as they want. I don't really care for whatever reason. The ocean, fuck no. Like, I will only go like knee deep at max in the ocean unless I'm like in the Bahamas or something where I can see everything around me for miles because it's so goddamn clear. Like,
I don't know. Like I'll get like the thought will enter my head like something is, and it doesn't matter. I could be in a lake. I could be in a fucking river. if I can't see fucking into the water and know it's there, I don't know if there's piranhas. And then you get that fucking feeling inside of you like, oh no, I got to get away. It's that like predator prey feeling or whatever, like that instinct inside of you that gives you the energy to like run away and make it and survive and propagate. And that's why we're here. Yeah. Like it kicks in.
You ever been like swimming in a lake or something? They have like small fish like sunnies or something like that in there. And like a fish or like a piece of seaweed like brushes your leg or some shit. You're like, oh, what the fuck?
I have had that happen once when I went swimming in. I think I told this story, but when I went swimming in fucking shit. What's the name of that place?
The Gulf of Mexico.
No, it's a lake in Texas.
Titicaca.
Anyway, it's a lake in Texas, and it's very, very famous for being the name of a fucking Toadies song. Anyway, and we went swimming out there because we had gone hog hunting with some of my friends, and we went to the lake, and we're swimming around, and we were taking turns jumping off this cliff. It's only like, I don't know, 20, feet, 25 feet, something like that to the water. It's not very tall, right? Like it ain't that. It's like a high dive at a swimming pool. Okay. Not a big deal. And we're jumping in, and then you swim over to this place, come around, climb back up the rocks, and go down, jump in again. We're playing around, right? And something goes by my leg. And I don't know what the fuck it was. Okay. At that moment, I'm like, what the shit? And it just kind of freaked me out for a second. And then I get to, and I'm close to where I'm about to climb up the rocks again. And I get and climb up the rocks, and I look back down, and there's an alligator garfish. Like that's about
those
6
things are
foot fucking long
looking.
with teeth. Garfish have teeth, and that motherfucker was right by me. I did not jump in the lake again. I was done for the day.
Yep.
That was it. I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, or like when you get to the side of the boat, like you've been swimming and you get to the side of the boat and you start climbing in and you just feel like you can't get out fast enough.
Yeah.
You know?
You're like, gotta get it. Yeah.
I hate the water. Yeah. That's why I live in Colorado. Like, we don't have, like, all the water comes from here, but we don't have, like, a lot of lakes compared to some areas. It's more rivers and shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like, go to Michigan. Like, fucking Duke knows. You got more lakes than anybody.
Yeah, but his lakes are the size of small oceans, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, those lakes are different. Those ones I am not as keen about swimming in.
Well, they've got a billion little lakes, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't drive, like, more than 20 miles without hitting a lake.
Do you guys get bad mosquitoes?
Yes. It depends on the year and how wet it is. But, like, if you go in the woods, I get ate up. I got the sweet blood.
Is this true? I've heard that the further north you go, the bigger mosquitoes get.
Not really.
That's not true? Okay. Because we get mosquitoes like a motherfucker down here because it's hot and we live next to the ocean. So it's always humid. Humidity is really, really high here. Yeah. And so we mosquitoes are a way of life. But
they just need little puddles and stuff so that they can lay their larvae. And if they don't have puddles to lay them, then you don't have as many mosquitoes.
Yeah. So like if you like tires, like old tires, that's a big that's a big breeding ground for mosquitoes. All kinds of stuff. So we try to keep it pretty dry, but even when I go into the woods, I get ate up. So you gotta worry about West Nile when you're up here if that's spreading around.
Like some years in Colorado, it's super fucking bad just because like the weather lines up perfectly and makes it happen. And other years, it's like I don't even get bit once.
Yeah, whenever I go home to NEPA in like the spring, summertime, I get fucking eaten up like a motherfucker.
I was watching this video about like what are the reindeer up in Canada? Are they just reindeer? Caribou?
So, yeah.
Caribou? Whatever. They were like following the caribou around and like in the summertime in Canada, I guess that the fucking mosquitoes just like hibernate for the winter and they all like come back to life or the eggs all get laid in the fall and then come back in the spring and hatch or whatever. Those poor caribou, oh my god. They must just be one giant mosquito bite in the summer. I would hate to be a caribou. Then Leia was talking about that tribe in Africa that like spins a basket around and catches flies off the lake and makes them into fly patties. Like, ugh. Jesus. I don't know why I thought of that right then. Oh, I just heard a gunshot. Outside.
Oh my god.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everybody. It's cool my son got a job, man. He's one step closer to being a man, even though he's only worked 2 days, but I'm proud of him. That's nice. Better than some people. There was something that someone was saying that I wanted to get to. Where is it? No, it wasn't that far back. Pat Riot wants a link on Discord. Okay. Pat Riot, you got it. Pat Riot. There you are, sir. the trash is piling up in New York because they don't have anyone to pick it up? Is that what's going on here?
Possibly.
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it. Dude, New York's going to fucking not be around for much longer, the way things are going. Well, it'll still be there, just, you know, it'll be different.
Yeah, it'll be a shell of its former self.
Yeah. Anyone else out there got any crazy ghost stories? Dookie baby, you got anything? I mean, there was that one time that jogger was coming through.
Yeah, man. The joggers.
I did see a UFO once. I've told this story before.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, it's like a helicopter is what it looked like. And I don't know why I was like at first looking at it, but then eventually it dawned on me that the reason I was like looking at this helicopter was because it was close enough that you should be able to hear it, but it was silent. And then I noticed it was kind of moving a little weird for a helicopter. Like it was kind of like moving like a UFO, like kind of back and forth, and like I don't know how to describe it. It was just moving strangely. And then it like acted like it fucking got detected and went to star mode and got dimmer and froze in spot and like acted like a star for like a good minute. And I was looking at this thing like, fuck you. You're not a fucking star. I saw you flying around like a helicopter a minute ago.
Right.
This is bullshit, right? And then it was like, okay, like he's not giving up. Let's get the fuck out of here. And it went back to helicopter mode and then flashed like a flash of lightning, you know, like everything lit up for like a second. And then it shot off like the Starship Enterprise going to warp 9.5. I got a gun pulled on me on, I want to say Thanksgiving, but Halloween once. Jesus. When I was a kid, like we were trick-or-treating. I was probably like 12 years old, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
And I had shit ton of candy, and so did my two friends, and we're like heading back to the house, and these teenagers in a car pull up, and they're wearing their masks, and they all hop out, and one of them has a gun, and they were like, "Give us your candy!" And they fucking robbed us for our candy. I was terrified at the time, and then I was angry afterwards, and now it's funny. So, and we got a Pat Riot.
What's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yep.
I went and bought a new mic. It's supposed to be a sound deadening microphone, so hopefully you don't get a lot of the background noise.
Yeah, no, it sounds good.
Of course, I'm outside right now. I actually have a couple of ghost stories.
All right.
My
Go ahead.
grandparents were the administrators at a place called Lakeview County Home in Monticello, Indiana. It was a place that took care of people that like couldn't take care of themselves, like elderly people that didn't have enough money to retire off of, or a young person that was whatever, couldn't make it themselves. But the place was super old, and in the basement was a bunch of rooms that weren't even being used anymore. I think they used it as like a tuberculosis hospital or something weird like that way back. Well, anyway, in the main part of the house where my grandparents lived, their basement is where my grandpa kept all his woodworking tools. And I was a young kid, and those things were cool, so I'd go down there and I'd play and stuff. One day I was there. I think I was alone. There was nobody there with me. And I thought, I swear to God, I heard one of those tools turn on in the basement. just like for a second. You know what a table saw sounds like whoosh. So I went down there and checked it out, and I couldn't find anything. And there's a door to the main part, the rest of the basement. Like, this place is huge. Like 4 or 5 houses could fit in this thing. And this door was always locked. I could never get through this door. But this time the door was unlocked. So I opened the door and I go back to explore all this basement. And there's just room after room after room after room, hallway after hallway after hallway. You can turn right, you can turn left. And they were all empty except one room was full of toys. Like unwrapped, like what I thought would be like Christmas toys, like somebody donated to the place. And for some reason I didn't go in the room. I just left the basement, and I forgot about it for the rest of the day. And then the next day I asked my grandparents about it. I said, "What's with all those toys in the basement?" And they said, "There's no toys in the basement." I said, "Yeah, there is. I was just down there yesterday. There's this whole room filled with nothing but toys." I said, "You're mistaken. There's no toys down there." I said, yes, there is. My grandpa's like, "All right, well, let's go check it out." It's down there, the door's locked. He has the key to open that door. And I take him to the room where those toys were. The toys were gone. There's no toys there. Like something was trying to draw me into that room.
That's weird.
It's creepy.
Maybe that was your Christmas presents from your grandparents.
Oh my god!
You found the stash, and they would rather you think that there was a fucking scary ghost living in the basement than you. That'd be fucked up, dude. You made me think of 2 stories when you were talking there that I forgot about. There was a time, but they're both from this time when I was working at a hotel. I worked at the 4 Point Sheridan on Hamden and I-25 in Denver, which is now a parking garage because they tore it down.
Mm-hmm.
But this place had been there since like the 1940s or 50s or something like that. It'd been there forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I worked there right at the time that it was like winding down and closing. Like, I actually got fired from that job, and it was a couple months after I got fired. They laid everybody else off. It was like a month later. So they were looking to get rid of everybody they could for any reason so they didn't have to pay them severance or find another job for them or whatever they'd have to do. And I just happened to do whatever it was at that time, and they, not the point. But this thing was like sinking into the ground, and what they had done is like filled in this whole foundation area with steel reinforced concrete. They like dug down and like steel reinforced concreted it, and then dug down underneath that and jacked it up, right? So that there's this like weird cave that's underneath the fucking thing that you can only access through like this like electric room that you have to squeeze through a little miniature doorway that's not really a doorway to get. Yeah, and then all of a sudden you just emerge into this cave, and there's like mannequins and like fucking like a beach table with a fucking umbrella set up and chairs around it and like plates and stuff on it, and it's like seriously as big as a football field. Like giant, but pitch fucking black. And that place was fucking scary. Nothing ever happened there, but every time I went into that area, which was only a handful of times, it gave me the fucking creeps, right? And then, okay, 2 more stories. Sorry. There was 3 wings of this place, right? There was like, I don't know how many stories it was tall, but each different wing had an elevator to access the rooms on, so there was 3 different elevators so that you could do, and 2 of the wings were closed. Like, this place is fucking old, and they only had 1 wing, and it was the main wing, granted, and it was the biggest one, but only 1 wing out of the 3 was still open. And these rooms were sitting there in states of disrepair, still have a bed in it, whatever, like all kinds of different ways. And they would use some of the hallways to like store Christmas decorations or whatever it was, that you didn't have room for in the main area or in the, like, they would just stuff it in there. So like one year we had to go in there to like find some stuff for the Christmas tree, right? So we're like going in there, we're digging through stuff, and there's this terrible fucking smell, dude. Like something stinks like real bad. And the further we go down this hallway, the worse it gets. And we kind of track it down to a room and open the door and get it. It was like 7, you know, when they like open up the fucking thing and the smell hits them. Like, oh my god, it was terrible.
Yep.
Because an old fucking homeless guy had like broke into the hotel and had been staying in one of the rooms and died in it. Did like a heroin overdose or whatever. So yeah, that was fun. And then last story on this subject, and this is more related to what we're talking about tonight. So, you know the movie The Shining?
I am familiar.
What's the name of that hotel?
The Overlook.
Well, what is the name of the hotel it was based on?
I don't remember the actual name of the hotel, but I know that's not where the movie was actually filmed. I know it was a hotel that Stephen King had like stayed in or something.
Yes. It's called the Stanley Hotel.
That's right.
In Colorado. And one of the company that owned us or whatever also owned them. And they needed a bartender for like a special event one night. And so they asked if there were any volunteers. I was like, hell yeah, dude, I'll go to the fucking Stanley Hotel and be a bartender. Like,
yeah, why not? You don't miss out on an opportunity like that.
So I go there, I work the shift, everything's fine, you know, I'm just pouring beers and stuff, and shift gets over, and the food and beverage director is the person that I have to, like, give my cash register drawer to and have him count it to make sure that it's accurate and blah, blah, blah at the end of my shift so I can go home. So I'm there with my checkout slip and my cash register at his desk in the basement of the Stanley Hotel, and behind his desk was this old, like, cast iron gate and a fucking tunnel in the basement of the Stanley Hotel. And I later learned that this was because, like, it's a really, really old hotel. And it was very bougie for the time when it was first built. And the people would come to Colorado for vacation and want to go into town to do some shopping or whatever, but wouldn't want to walk in the snow to ruin their shoes. So they built a tunnel for the people to walk through so they could get to the shops in town. But it was so old that it had been long since condemned and you can't go in there. You know, it was like that kind of thing. So they just put a steel gate over it. And that's just where the food and beverage director's office happens to have been. So I'm sitting there doing my checkout, and he gets some call on the radio. And he's like, hold on, give me a minute, I'll be back. I'm like, yeah, fine. I'm just sitting there. And I swear to God, I heard like a child's voice or something, like say something from inside the tunnel. And I could not wait to get the fuck out of there.
Come play with us, Honda. Forever and ever.
You'll float too.
So, it like as we're talking about like creepy basements and stuff, and you mentioned the homeless guy. I used to work, one of my first jobs I ever had, I worked for an auto parts company. And I got shuffled around to a couple different stores. And one of the stores I worked at was in Kingston, Pennsylvania. It was like on this strip of stores or whatever, like nothing really unusual about the building. But we actually had a basement in this store. And it was a weird basement. Like you went down this very narrow set of steps. At the bottom, you immediately had to take a right, and then you were in a smaller room, which had like another smaller room built into it with no doors on it. And then as you went further into the basement, you actually had to like duck. Like you couldn't stand straight up in this space. Like I'm 6 foot, you could not stand straight up. You had to hunch over until you got to the very back of the basement, and then it opened up into a big room. It's where we kept like large overstock parts like exhaust systems and shit like that. We'd keep all down there. And I had to run down there and like stock shelves and shit all the time. So I constantly had to go down there and grab a part or bring parts down there or whatnot. And whenever you would get to the bottom of those steps, like it was always like the hair on the back of your arms would always stand on end or whatever. And I've always just chalked up to like there's probably like some bare, you know, electric wires and shit, because it's an old building, like, you know, weird energy currents or something. But come to find out, there had been a guy that actually died in that basement. And what had happened was a customer had come into the store one time. It was an older gentleman, and he had asked to use the bathroom. And so this was years before I started working at the store. And so where our bathroom was, you walked behind the counter, you took a right. The first door on the left was the door to the basement. The second door on the left was the bathroom. This guy had been told, like, oh yeah, behind the counter there, second door on the left. Well, he had gone into the basement, and there wasn't like a light at the top of the basement that you could flick to turn on the lights. You had to go all the way down to the bottom of the basement, actually walk in the basement a little bit. So you always had to have a flashlight with you. And it was like a light on like a pull chain type thing. Well, this guy had just turned thinking like, oh, I'm just walking into this basement, and went to go step forward, and like, boom, right down the steps. And I guess he had fallen down the steps, and like, from what they had told me, like this guy had come in around lunchtime, and no one heard him fall down the steps or anything. And it was towards the end of the day when they were closing up at like 8:30, 9 o'clock or whatever. They're like, hey, did that guy ever come out of the bathroom? Like, did we ever see him come out or whatever? And they're like, no. So they went to go check the bathroom, and they're like, there's no one fucking in here. And someone went into the basement, There he was, like dead at the bottom of the steps. So that was kind of like creepy knowing that from that point on. But
Oh, by the way, Dumb and Dumber, the movie, obviously. The scene where where Floyd goes into the bar. First of all, the hotel that they stay at is the Stanley. That's the actual Stanley Hotel in that movie.
oh, really? Cool.
Yeah. And like when he goes up to the bar and he's all disappointed and the guy gives him a drink, that exact bar is where I was bartending at.
That's pretty cool.
What the fuck?
What the fuck? Why do we have clown music on?
It's supposed to be Halloween music.
Yeah.
I don't know. Somebody's live streaming it on YouTube right now. It's like 24 hours straight of Halloween music. I figured it'd make nice ambiance.
Oh.
Is it like duty free?
Well, it's being played live on YouTube right now on the live.
Yeah, but they don't talk about guns and conspiracies on their channel.
True. It's very
Or
true.
do they?
I don't know. It's some channel with 169,000 subscribers.
Well, they're doing something right.
And there's 886 people watching right now, just listening. I mean, I bet they're not watching actively.
They're probably just, they have it playing at their Halloween party or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense. There's 800 Halloween parties going on right now where no one thought far enough ahead to put some music together, so they just searched.
Exactly. It's like during Halloween when you put the thing on the TV that just looks like a fireplace.
Yeah, you mean during Christmas?
Christmas,
Or,
there you go.
yeah.
Or
like,
Boobzilla or Boobarilla or whatever the fuck her name was. What was her name? You remember her?
Elvira?
Boobarilla?
You're not talking about Elvira. Are you talking about Elvira? Mistress
Yeah,
of the
I
Dark?
think he's talking about Elvira.
You never disrespect Elvira by forgetting her name.
Oh my
Boobarilla.
god.
You owe that. We all owe that woman a debt of gratitude.
God.
I mean, she did a lot for the youth of America.
She did.
The boys.
100%.
For years. By the way, have you seen that chick lately? She's actually still pretty hot, and she's like pushing 70. No shit.
Plastic will do that.
Well, yeah, and she fully admits that she is fake.
There's no way she's not, dude.
Yeah. She was she's dude, that chick she's fucked Elvis.
Jesus.
She
I
started,
didn't realize she was that old.
no, she started out her career as a fucking a dancer in Las Vegas. That's where she started in the late 60s, early 70s. And then she got some gig on a local TV show hosting horror movies at a local TV show, I think in Vegas. And that's when she blew up. And by the 80s, everybody knew who the fuck Elvira was because she had like syndicated show. And then she did like a couple movies and yeah.
See, Andrew Hefker calls her Boobarilla.
Show some respect.
Yeah.
Well, at least I didn't call her Boobzilla.
I'm just saying, she's hot. And I always like goth girls too, so that kind of plays into it. I bet you that's why I like goth girls. Shit, I just figured that out. I'm 44 years old. I just figured that shit out.
I just realized Jolly probably missed that train, so we have to introduce Jolly to.
Yeah. I don't know, man. There was just something about like the dark makeup and the dark clothes and shit. I don't know. I always thought it was hot.
Oh, I can't fucking search that on a live chat.
What were you searching? Jesus.
Boobarilla.
No, Elvira.
No, God.
Mistress of the Dark. Jesus.
Images. Yeah, her.
Does anyone in the chat have spooky stories?
Mm-hmm. Look at that. That's great.
Oh, yeah.
How long is this chat going to be on the screen in front of every picture you post? Just curious. It's literally been there since I've been in here.
Oh, sorry. I don't know. Reasons?
Like, see that picture all the way over the right where she doesn't have her wig on? That's what she looks like now.
Remember Trash Mountains in documentary Idiocracy?
Yep. I certainly do.
Like, she was super hot back here.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh my god. And then you fast forward to this, and it's like, for her age she is, but...
Yeah, she's in her 60s.
Definitely
mid to late 60s.
She fucked the king. I didn't realize there was still women walking around on the earth that had the king inside of them.
What are you talking about? What's his name? His wife is still alive. What's her name? What the fuck's his wife's name that was in all the Naked Gun movies? Now I'm blank.
Oh, fuck.
She's still alive. Priscilla Presley.
Yes. I guess that makes sense. Like, I mean,
He also only like hooked up with chicks younger than him. So I mean, that's
true.
Probably part of it.
And he lived until like what, the 70s or
77.
something is when he died.
He died 2 months after I was born.
Yeah, so that's definitely.
He died
feasible
August
then.
something, 1977.
Especially because you figure those people are older.
Well,
I mean, they're all old now, but they're,
Yeah, he quote unquote died. Yeah.
Yeah.
We all know that aliens took him. Right, Duke?
Yeah.
Duke's asleep.
Dookie dookie doo!
Duke's
They're
passed
behind
out.
you!
Duke's fighting that paralysis demon right now.
Ah, shit.
Fucking shit pants Biden. What's the over-under on that being true?
I mean, look at him. I would not doubt it at all.
Yeah, I would not
But
put
at
it
the same
past him.
time, there's plenty of people who would love to spread that rumor around, even if it wasn't true. So, I don't know. I'm going 50-50.
Have you guys heard the conspiracy
I would
theory
go-
about what happened to Elvis?
I've heard many conspiracy theories about what
which
happened to Elvis,
one?
including that he ended up
It's,
in an old folks' home and he eventually ended up fighting a fucking mummy. Great movie, by the
No,
way.
my old trainer told me that there's a pastor somewhere that looks exactly like him, and when he sings like in church every weekend on Sundays, that he sounds exactly like the guy. And they did like a computer regeneration aging thing, and they said that that was like a high percentage of a chance that this could be Elvis, but he just like changed his name and disappeared into
I also heard there was another rumor for a long time that Elvis went to Las Vegas and became an Elvis impersonator. Like, dead serious. That's a real. There's so many conspiracy theories around Elvis dying or not dying.
I think the conspiracy theories around Elvis dying are more about people's own insecurity and psychosis and like inability to deal with something like loss of a person that you admired, and hence they will hang on to anything to believe that that's not true. It's
Maybe,
denial.
but why don't people do it anymore? That's not a thing anymore. Like that used to be a thing, right?
Well, like Elvis is dead by now, no matter what.
Well, yeah.
I mean, unless they downloaded him into a computer or something.
Well, the last one is Tupac.
Yeah, Tupac and Biggie, they those were the last ones, big ones that I remember where people were like, no, they're still alive. Well, actually,
Right.
no, just Tupac. I don't remember. Like
I don't
Biggie,
think-
I think everybody's pretty sure because everybody saw him dead, right?
Right.
No, like a lot of people didn't. Like only the people that were there saw Tupac. But like the Biggie, because then there was like pictures that it got loose, like on whatever the '90s version of TMZ was back when it happened, and like there were pictures of him dead that had leaked out or something. If I remember right, I don't know. It's been a while.
I think it was of Tupac. Tupac's autopsy photos. I know those got
That what it
leaked.
was? Okay, maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Well, the thing with the Tupac conspiracy theories is how much was he talking about the Illuminati, first of all?
Yeah.
How much was he talking about, what was that guy's name? Machiavelli? What did Machiavelli do? He fucking faked his own death? You know, like all of these things that he was talking about in his songs, and like how you can't kill me, you know, shoot me all like 17 shots, or how many ever times he got shot and didn't die.
The first time it was 5 shots. He got shot 5 times.
Yeah, it wasn't 17, but whatever.
Yeah.
5?
Yeah, the first time he got shot, it was 5 times.
50 Cent need to step it up. I think he only got shot 3 times. That just seems pathetic by Tupac numbers. You know who definitely did not?
I think 50 supposedly got shot 9.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Okay, he's better than I thought. Never mind.
Okay.
No, you know who definitely didn't fake their own death? Jeffrey Epstein. Just keeping everybody. Let's not forget this. Always remember.
It's fair.
Got to remind people once in a while. That's still a thing that happened that a bunch of rich people don't want us to remember. They really don't want us to remember all the shit that he must have known.
What is going on with the investigation on that, by the way?
Oh, nothing on him.
What investigation?
Yeah, exactly.
0.
Last I heard, they were investigating what's her face, that chick. But then that just kind of dropped off the radar, and I haven't heard anything about it for. Well,
I meant the investigation into his death.
Oh,
because there was obviously something going on with that. Like people were paid off or whatever it was.
Well, yeah, it's obvious, but nobody's doing anything about it.
It's been ruled a suicide, and that's it. No more investigation on that.
Yep. Hey, you see that shit that CNN was tweeting out? I think it was yesterday, if I remember right. No, I think it was like Friday. They were tweeting out that they were talking shit about Elon Musk. And they're like, you know, with just 2% of Elon Musk's wealth.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
He could solve world hunger. And he sent this tweet out. He's like, if you can explain exactly how $6 billion will solve world hunger, he's like, I'll sell some Tesla stock right now and do it. And like, he's like, if it's just 2%, he's like, I'll do it. I'll solve world hunger right now if you can explain to me how my $6 billion is going to do that. And then like crickets. Nobody said shit.
Yeah. I do love Elon from the standpoint he'll just call people on shit.
And I guarantee you he would do it too. If it was like $6 billion and he like and they could prove to him, he'd be like, okay, here you go. You just see the shit he's doing down here in fucking in the valley where I live in Brownsville, man. Like holy shit. Like he's paying for all the roads to get built up. He gave like $30 million to the school district down here. He's like just fucking shoveling money everywhere down here.
Well, yeah, because he's used to shoveling money everywhere in California. Like there, it's expected. They're like, oh, he donated $30 million to a school, as he should have.
Yeah,
snooty nose, smell my own fart, fucking. Bitchin'.
Down here, everybody's like, what?
Yeah,
he just gave the city of Brownsville, I want to say, like, oh fuck, he gave them $10 million to help with the roads. Gave the BISD $30 million. God knows how much money he's just given in general. Like, just I don't even know. Like fucking, dude, there's so many people down here that are not from Texas that have just moved down here because of Tesla or SpaceX. Like it's fucking crazy. It's blowing up down here. Remember how you said we were talking about it like last year sometime? He said he was gonna in Texas going to build Starship. He was going to turn a city. He was going to call. He wanted to rebuild a city. He wanted to build a city in Texas and call it Starship. And it was going to be the city
spaceport. It was spaceport.
Spaceport, is that what it was? Something like that. And I think he's trying to do that to Brownsville. It's an odd place to do it, but okay.
Well, I mean, he did it where the land was cheap, where the regulations were low, where he was able to do what he wanted, where he could pay a little bit of money. And yeah, it sounds like a lot, a couple $1 million here, $10 million there.
It's a lot for Brownsville. Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone down there is like, oh my God, this is so much money. But to him, it's like, well, I've got 60 billion. So
here's
10 million. That's like me giving, I don't know, a couple bucks to
Yeah.
a homeless guy or
Oh
something.
yeah, and he gave another I don't know how many $1 million to like to rejuvenate downtown Brownsville, because downtown Brownsville, much like many downtowns in cities across the country, is kind of shit. So he's like, here's like I don't know $10 million or whatever the fuck it was he gave him. It was millions. Rejuvenate downtown. Brownsville. Okay. All right, cool.
I wish I had I wish I had rejuvenate downtown money.
Yeah, no shit,
know?
right?
Where I could just be like, oh, I'm moving to this new town, and this downtown area is kind of shitty. Here's 10 mil, fix it up, will you? Jesus Christ.
Well, and for people that one thing that's pissing people off though is it's driving up property values. He's driving up property values, so now there's going to be a lot of people who can't afford like their homes anymore, which also may be part of the point, because that's what happens. That's called gentrification. Come in, make the place nicer, get rid of all the poor folks. I mean, it's capitalism. I can't say I'm mad at it. I'm relatively certain I'm going to be fine, but you know,
I mean, if you're a landowner and you're selling the property, you should be coming out pretty good.
Oh yeah, if you're selling,
Yeah.
if you're just trying to pay your fucking taxes, because you know property taxes and or whatever, or if you're renting, and now all of a sudden the person who owns the property has got to charge more for fucking rent because the property is now worth more money. That's when it sucks.
Well, not only that, but like now property, like I don't know what you call it, like living space or whatever, is limited because a bunch of people moved down there, and it's not like they like build a bunch of condominiums and fucking duplexes and stuff for everyone to move into.
No, they're trying though.
Yeah, I'm sure that they'll catch up eventually, but like that's what happened in Denver, dude. Because like you used to be able to get a decent 1-bedroom apartment in Denver for $600, pretty easy, you know, back in the day. And now it's like a 1-bedroom, and I looked out with my place, but you can't generally find one for less than $1,100-$1,200, you know. Yeah. And that's not because the property tax has gone up that much. It's that so many people moved here and housing is limited.
That's the only thing that worries me if Texas ever fucking legalized marijuana, is exactly what happened to Colorado.
It wouldn't happen because of marijuana, because you weren't the first ones to do it. If you I wish Colorado was like the 5th one to do it, and then it wouldn't have been everyone moved here. Like if California did it first, everyone who was waiting for that for their entire life, who moved to the first place that did it as soon as they could, would have been California, not Colorado. And we got a lot of those people here. As soon as we passed that law, everyone started moving here.
We already have, I guarantee you, as many people as moved to Colorado from, let's say, California in the past 20 years. Or how long have you had legal weed? Whatever. 15, 10? I don't know what the fuck it is. Let's say 10. I guarantee you, as many people that moved, or however many people that moved to Colorado from California in the last 10 years, 3 times that many people have already moved to Texas, and that's without legal weed.
Well, like that's how many people. You guys are selling freedom, not weed, man.
I know, but then they want to come here and fucking turn it into California, and I'm like, why? Why? You left for a fucking reason. Why are you coming here and fucking it up? Like, if you want to come here and be libertarian, cool. You know what I'm saying? But
I'd be interested to see how many of the people who fled California because it was shit and came to Texas are actually still voting Democrat.
I would love to see those numbers. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Because I bet a bunch of the people who were voting Democrat are more like the naturalized civilians of this country who were here legally, who were voting as they should, right?
I don't know. It'd be an interesting poll to do. You know, just to find out, like, what the fuck?
Well, plus they've been brainwashing the kids, and I think a lot of, disproportionately, the kids vote Democrat, generally. And with all this crazy propaganda that they're shoving down their throats on a daily basis, 5 days a week in school,
yeah,
fucking, I would be surprised if, 90% of those votes weren't fucking Democrat.
You're welcome, by the way, Honda.
For?
All the influx of people coming into Colorado.
Oh yeah. I keep praying for a giant snowstorm, man. Like we had back in the day, where like we literally get 5-6 feet of snow in a 12 to 15-hour period, like overnight into the morning, and then you wake up the next day and you're like, holy fuck. And then the wind starts blowing and you get one of those 30-foot snow drifts on top of your car, I think that would make some people move back.
Not if they're from Illinois. It'll feel just like home.
That's true. That'd be more like the people from Texas. There's a lot of people from Texas who moved here too, by the way. And that was always one of the complaints of Colorado traditionally, is where are the two people moving from to Colorado that are fucking Colorado up? Texas and California.
See, that's the thing. When I moved up there, because like honestly, if you grew up in Texas, like Colorado is a vacation destination. Like it just is. It's close enough to Texas and has enough cool stuff, whether it's skiing or whatever, that it's a vacation destination. So a lot of people from Texas either vacation and some, like myself, move to Colorado. And that was one of the things, because like I didn't we moved to Colorado. Me and my friends moved. We're like, my friends were just like me, like, whatever. We weren't political. We weren't fucking with anything, right? Like it just was what it was. And we would go to Texas, and at the time, I didn't understand everything. Of course, this was 96 too, and I don't think y'all started getting fucked up yet then. But even so, like fucking people, like noticeably, there were people who would be like, "Oh, you're from Texas," like, and give me. I'm like, I didn't do anything.
Well,
I came
here's
here
why,
because I
though.
like your state.
You spelled it out for yourself right there. It's because Colorado was a tourist destination for Texas.
Yeah.
So all of these rich-ass, snooty-ass, fucking know-it-all, piece of shit, fucking big-ass, Texas is bigger than you and better than you, attitude-having motherfuckers come up to Colorado on an annual basis and boss people around and throw money around like they fucking deserve it and, have these expectations that are never met. And you know what I mean? Like that type. Like that's what we think of that's what we thought of when we thought of Texas back then.
I never did that because I didn't have money to throw around, and I was pretty fucking poor the whole time I lived up there. And not too poor, but I can safely say that the entire time I was there, not once did I ever tell somebody from Colorado that Texas was better than Colorado. Because I didn't want to hurt their feelings. Because
well, the funny thing is, it's like you're in Colorado telling me how much better Texas is than here. It's like, well, then why the fuck are you here? Like,
well, no. It's completely hypocritical. I completely acknowledge that it's completely hypocritical. I'm just saying, like,
like, cool, then go back, you motherfucker.
Well, and that was the thing. We knew we were always going to move back. Like, it was essentially an extended vacation. Like at that time, I was fucking 18, 19. You know what I mean? Like, I knew I was going to move back to Dallas. That's where everybody I knew was. Like, it was cool to go spend a year skiing and climbing mountains and whatever and doing that stuff, and that was cool. That's an experience I got to have, and I'm very happy with it. But like, I never thought at that time, like, well, I'm going to stay here. You know what I mean? Like that had never occurred to me.
Well, Colorado was cool when I was younger for like rock climbing and skiing and stuff, but I'm too old and fucking fat and out of shape and shit for rock climbing. Like, I'm not like out of shape for like doing stuff, but for rock climbing, you got to be in good shape.
Oh yeah.
So I don't do that anymore. And like skiing, like I'm afraid I'm going to blow a knee out and not be able to work. So that's kind of out, So like maybe I'll go hiking every now and again, but I really don't enjoy the mountains like I used to,
Yeah.
So I might as well live anywhere because it doesn't matter anymore. I don't know.
I just drove through Denver last week. I was checking all the Hondas for Honda's smiling face. I didn't see him.
You know what I realized, dude? So I walked. So I was. We got new neighbors from somewhere. I don't remember where the fuck they're from. I didn't ever ask. When they moved in, like all I know is when they moved a few weeks ago or whatever it was, they said, written in shoe polish on their back windshield, it says, "Here we come, Texas." So I'm pretty sure they're fucking from SpaceX. So I don't know where the fuck they moved from, but I never.
Sorry. I could just see the Texans being like, "God damn it!"
It's happening down here, man. It really is. Like it's after a while, you're from Texas, you're like, "God damn it!" Okay, are you going to be a good one or a bad one? I don't know, but anyway, they fucking. I hadn't noticed it, but yesterday, I think it was yesterday or Friday, I can't remember. My wife parked her car, the new car she's got, which is the Nissan Rogue. It's a 2018 Nissan Rogue. She parks it, and then the neighbor parks their car right next to it. And the cars are both kind of a silvery gray color, right? And I swear I walked up to the wrong fucking car because it looks exactly fucking like my wife's car. And I had to stop and go, wait, she wouldn't park here. And I looked, and I had to walk to the back of the car, and it was a fucking RAV4. And it looks exactly like my wife's fucking car. Like, it's the same fucking car, dude.
No, it's the same car, dude.
They're the same fucking car.
It's got a different motor, though. It does have a different motor. It's got a different powertrain. Like, the inside of it's different, but it's the exact same body.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure the fucking panels you can interchange, to be honest.
Like, I walked to the wrong fucking car.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was like, Jesus Christ.
I love my RAV4, man. My RAV4 is great. How do you like that Nissan Rogue?
I like it. My wife loves it. We've been driving that more now because gas. You know, it's a 4-banger. So we've been driving it around. I swear to God, when I got in it and drove it, I did not think it was a 4-banger. I thought it was a 6-cylinder. I really did. Like the way it drives like a 6-cylinder. And then we looked at it. My wife's like, no, it's a 4-cylinder. I was like, what? Really?
Is it a regular 4-cylinder or like a 4-cylinder turbo?
I don't think it's a turbo. No.
Okay.
They do some sort of fucking like Asian space magic to the engine to get more horsepower out of it.
I don't know, but it drives really nice, and it drives.
Engine development's come a long way in the last 10, 20 years, even.
It easily could. Because my wife's last car was a fucking 6-cylinder. It was a Ford Explorer, and you know that thing's with 6 cylinders. You've got a decent amount of power, and you've got good get up and go. Like the get up and go in that 6-cylinder that my wife had was better than my Suburban. Like my Suburban can long haul, and it's got a lot of power, but it's not exactly quick. You know what I mean? And this thing pulls just like my fucking my Explorer did. Like I was surprised that it was only a 4-cylinder because it did not feel like it was straining or anything. It felt like it had power.
It starts lacking when you get going faster. Like if you're like going 80 and you want to go 90 and you're going up a hill, it doesn't like that.
Maybe, but so far I haven't had any problems. But so I'm happy with it. So, but yeah, it just tripped me up because I know you've got the RAV4, and I was like, Jesus Christ, it's the same fucking car.
Dude, I love my RAV4. Like you fucking put the back seats down, you basically have like a pickup truck. What the fuck? What the fuck was that, dude?
Sound like a
probably.
Did someone get eaten by the predator?
I was yawning. Sorry.
Oh my lord. Super Bad Video says, "Happy Halloween, everybody. Happy Halloween, Super Bad Videos."
Super Bad. I love that movie. I assume everybody in here has watched Super Bad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Oh my god, I'm retarded. I drove past the new Tesla Gigafactory. Sorry, I suck. That is being built outside Austin. That place is ginormous.
It's got to be.
Man, maybe I should like move down to Texas and add to your fucking problems, you know?
Nah, see, you wouldn't.
I would in the fact of housing. Like, drain on infrastructure, water use.
But it's not like you're moving to fucking Brownsville, where it's currently being strained. Because I would never recommend anybody move to Brownsville. I ended up here just as a fluke, and then I met my wife, and we just kind of stayed here. But if somebody said, you can have your job anywhere else in Texas, and you can go anywhere else, and it's paid for, and you'll have a house waiting for you, like, I wouldn't be in Brownsville right now. Like, I would have fucking left already. In fact, I got offered a job. I don't think I have said this on the air, but Honda, I think I told you. I got offered a job up in Waco, which is about 7 hours north of me in Texas, which is only an hour and a half, give or take, south of Dallas. And I so would have took that fucking job if if somebody was going to like pay my moving expenses and I had, a house waiting for me up there and all that shit, I would so be out the fucking door. I would have been gone. Like, oh, let's go.
So what I'm hearing from you, Matt, is that you want to move to Waco and start a church.
Church. Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
Can I be the first to join this church and have some special place in it?
Yes, you can.
Okay, good.
Absolutely can. No, seriously, for anybody that doesn't know, I mean, I know Waco's only known for fucking the what are they called?
Branch Davidians.
Yeah, and that. But Waco's actually a really nice town. Like, it's grown a lot since the 90s, since that shit happened. And it's actually a really nice town. It's got one of the bigger colleges in Texas is in there. And so it's got a little bit of a college town vibe to it, in addition to like having some really nice suburbs. And, you know, they got basically everything you could want in a town is pretty much there. So,
has anybody said if that place is haunted now or anything?
I don't know, man. I heard somebody was telling me, who was it? It was somebody in one of the chats saying that you can still go and like do tours of the place, or not, maybe not tours inside, but you can go see it. I don't know. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, my boss at my work was telling me that there was a crazy shooting at her apartment the other night. Like, people were shooting AR-15s and stuff, and people were crying and screaming, and cops came, but I haven't seen anything in the news, so I don't know what happened. Usually that only pops in the news if, like, people die, and it's usually if more than one person, too. Because if someone just gets shot, there's, like, a little blurb, and then you never hear about it, you know? Like, for instance, I was at a gas station McDonald's, that is right by my work, actually, still. And I was just getting a Gatorade and a pack of cigarettes or whatever after work. And I was inside deciding what kind of Gatorade I wanted to get. And the McDonald's employees were having an argument with some guy in the drive-thru through the window. They were screaming back and forth, and I can't say the words they were screaming back and forth. They start with an N and end with an And anyway. So I'm just like, whatever, dude. I'm just going to get my Gatorade. And then I hear pop, 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 pop. Whole magazine, dude. And I'm like, fuck, I hit the ground. I look over, there's this guy like looking at Oreos or something. He doesn't hit the ground. He's just looking around like, what is that? And I look at him and I go, you know what that is, right? And he was, I'll fucking never forget this. He goes, and I know who that is. And he runs outside like Batman to fucking catch him. And I'm like, what in the fuck is going on here? And I'm like on the ground, and like some more shots go off. I'm like, what in the fuck? And then this chick, the only other person in there who wasn't like behind bulletproof glass, like the clerk was behind the glass, she runs out. So now I'm the only motherfucker in this place who can get shot. So then I run out, and I get to my car, and right as I get to my car, some more shots ring, and I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm fucking out of here. This is fucking ridiculous.
So you didn't get your Gatorade?
No, well, I had to go to a different gas station because I still needed cigarettes. And I was like, my hands were shaking and shit. Oh, my God. And the fucked up part was, like, I left my gun in the car, right? Like, usually it's in my pocket, but I was tired of carrying it around all night. So I just, like, took it out of my pocket and left it in the car to go pick out a Gatorade because I figured there's nothing going to happen. But that was...
Right.
Then again, like, you know, like, if I had a gun, it's not like I could have done anything anyway. Like, nothing would have been better if I had it right then. But yeah, I looked in the paper, like, the next day and the day after that and shit, and never heard a peep about it. It wasn't even in the news. Not a blurb.
Yep.
I'm sure Leo's got a million stories like that.
Yeah. A lot I couldn't even share. At least on air.
Too much N-word
We've heard
that ends with "er."
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it usually ends with an A.
Oh, yeah, well, that's the one. That's
Yeah.
what I meant.
You're still not allowed to say that one either, by the way. Just want to make that clear.
Yeah.
Although Yankee was throwing around some shit tonight, like, yeah, close. I was like, God damn it, dude! Why are you saying?
It's Halloween. He was sensing a transformation coming on.
Well, he didn't
No,
say that one.
this is true.
He said something else that I'm pretty sure a lot of people would have not liked. I mean, I don't know. Did y'all any of y'all hear it?
No,
what did
I
he say?
wouldn't
No.
watch his chat.
Spell it.
He said it starts with porch.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
He's
I'm like-
bringing it back.
I'm like, God damn, dude. I'm like,
And
pretty
it
sure
would
you
have.
can- No. I'm pretty sure that can get you canceled nowadays. Like, if that's one thing, if you're talking to your friends and explaining, because he was telling a story about when he was a kid, so it's not like he was saying it offensively. So, like, if you're telling a story to your friends and you say that word, it's fine. I'm just saying, like, on the internet, maybe you shouldn't say that because as sensitive as the internet is nowadays, I'm just saying, you got to be careful about saying that shit online.
Wasn't
I
this
feel-
a discussion on the Clerks too?
Yeah, that's
to
what I
say-
said. He's bringing it back.
Yeah.
All right.
dude, it's not going to be long until the only thing on YouTube is like cat videos, and like it'll be a good place to like learn how to fix your motorcycle and shit.
Yeah, that's what it used to be. That's where it started. They want to get it back to where it started, I guess. Except they want plenty of CNN videos.
Oh yeah, and all of that, yeah. Because all of those dudes have fucking priority. All of their shit gets pushed to the top. All of it gets recommended.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I purposely press the button on YouTube where it says, like, I don't want to see this content. Make it go away. And then it'll just pop up, okay, well, we've got a million news sources. You don't like this one? Here's this one. Well, no, I don't want to see that one either. Oh, well, we still have a million of them, so, you can press that button all you want, but we're going to keep feeding it to you. Like, God damn it, dude.
I do this thing where I click like, what is it, like never show channel again or something like that. And
Yeah.
I used
Yeah,
to do
just
that, and
something
it
else
just
pops up.
it's an
Yeah.
effort and futility, so I just stopped.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
change anything. Like, their algorithm's going to algorithm no matter what you do. I think the
For a while-
only way to get around it is to, like, find something you like and share it with groups of people that are like-minded,
Yeah. For
I'll
a
be
while
honest,
before CNN, it was the Young Turks that was pushed in the forefront of YouTube, and I guess CNN replaced the
Yeah,
Young
I haven't-
Turks.
yeah, I haven't been pushed any of their stuff in a while.
Well, the Young
Well-
Turks, I used to listen to them, dude, because they actually used to, like, bring up good political points, and they were talking about, like, standing up to the powers that should not be, and, like, reducing the power of government and all the things that they were into back then. And yeah, they had some things that I probably didn't agree with, but the general message was positive, I thought. And then at some
but
point,
now they're half
Trump got
canceled.
bought
though.
off, dude. He has to have fucking like bent the knee and kissed the ring, and he's been knighted into the brotherhood, and now he touts the fucking shit that they want him to talk about, or he's just drank the Kool-Aid so bad that he's fucking brainwashed.
Well, no, they've half been canceled, dude. Like, people, they don't push the Young Turks like they used to anymore because there's some controversial shit that they've said in the past that now is no longer cool. Like, what was that shit that Chunk Yogurt got in trouble for saying something about the
Bestiality or something?
Well, is that one, and then also he said something about the Armenian genocide, and he said, and it was very non-PC by today's standards or whatever.
Well, I mean, like, that's a really good point, though. Is like, hey, you're named after the group of people that committed genocide.
Yeah, this is the Iraq veteran 88 argument. It's like, okay, I get maybe for whatever reason you didn't get it at the time,
Right?
but now if you don't get it, if you get it now, then you should change your name. Like,
It's not hard to rebrand.
no, it's not, especially for an outlet as big as that. So yeah, it's yeah. Fucking Hitler, god damn it.
Wait, he wanted to do a
That
name
guy-
change
that guy-
because of what?
That guy totally understands what 88 means. Have you
He
ever
so,
seen
he
one
so
of his?
fucking does.
Have you ever seen one of his earlier videos where he talked about how Mexicans were running through your backyard? Maybe you should shoot some brown people.
Oh really? I hadn't seen that.
He had talked about that, something about the border. Like if you saw some brown people running through your backyard, you should. The gist of it was you should shoot them.
Huh.
I don't know if that video's still up, but he totally knows what 88 means.
I wonder if they ever look in the mirror and ask if we are the baddies.
I don't know what 88 means.
Heil Hitler.
Anybody want to? Really?
Heil Hitler. Yeah.
I never heard of that.
Well, 'cause
H is the 8th letter of the alphabet.
There you go.
Yeah. It's like white supremacist code for Heil Hitler.
It's funny how all the white people knew the answer to that.
Well, because we're the ones that get accused of it all the fucking time, so we have to know. We have to know what the fuck it is.
I just didn't say anything.
Like, there was a time when I didn't know what that was, and that time was only like 5 years ago.
Yeah, mine was like 2 years ago, not even.
Like, and what was there's another one. Fuck, what is it? There's another one too. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, they are in the SS.
There's another one that's
bad ones.
It's like there are the fucking 27 words that are the fucking white people or white fucking supremacist Pledge of Allegiance. What is it?
Oh, the 14 words. Mark
the 14
Malone knows.
Okay, well, whatever the fuck it is, it's like that. There's like a thing that there's like shorthand for that, and I think it's a number for the is it 14 maybe? I don't know, but there's a shorthand for that too that I learned here in the last 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it was. Basically, I've learned all this shit since Trump was president, because that's when the left lost their shit and started accusing everybody of being racist all the time. And I had to learn all this shit, like somehow. And I love how I love it and I hate it at the same time.
Dude,
I hate it because it's exhausting to deal with all the time. But I love that somehow Reddit managed to troll the entire left by convincing them things like, I don't know, milk was racist or the OK symbol was racist.
Yeah,
it was a huge troll.
It's the old story of the self-fulfilling prophecy. And it's like, I think they're trying to create Mexican Joker, if you follow. Like, what was Mexican Joker? He was this like fictional character in South Park that they were worried was going to cause trouble because he's Mexican and he's like got all these things going on, and they looked for him so hard that they ended up like pushing Butters into becoming Mexican Joker to rebel against them. They created the very thing that they were against, right?
El Mantequilla.
This is where you lose me because I don't watch South Park.
Yep.
See, I don't watch South Park or Seinfeld. What do you think of that?
I think that you're very lacking in your humor department. Very
I mean,
dry.
one of them is a smart choice. The other one's just you missed out on that part of your life.
There are some genius, amazing, hilarious episodes of South Park. And I'm not going to say every episode from beginning to end is gold.
And look, I went to the movies to watch Bigger, Better, and Uncut. Bigger, whatever the fuck the name of that is. Like, so it's not like I don't know what South Park is, and it's not like I don't like it. It's just for whatever reason, like, I just never watched it. And then at a certain point, 20 fucking seasons in or whatever the fuck it is, it just felt like too much of a chore to go back and watch it all. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck. Like now I just feel like it's just passed me by, Colostomy Bag says that song you mentioned last night is a banger. Dude, I've listened to it like 50 times. I fucking love that song. Oh yeah, I don't remember what that song is. I remember you playing it, but I don't remember what it was.
Well, all of the seasons are on HBO Max, so.
Wait, what's on HBO Max?
South Park.
Oh, okay. I have HBO Max.
20 seasons sounds like
how many seasons are there?
Like, it was like 23 some seasons. Yeah.
Jesus.
Like, I'm right now trying to go through all the episodes and seasons of Always Sunny because I know I've skipped episodes and like it's a goddamn chore.
Yeah, look this up. Like, listen to it yourself. I can't play it because of reasons, but I really, really like the song. And it really speaks to what's going on right now. And I think we need more mainstream things or things that can become mainstream. But they have to start off somewhere, which is underground. And where is that? That's here right now. We are the underground because we're not mainstream.
See, high res. This is a war. Okay.
Well, we've talked about it before too. Like, we are we are counterculture right now. Right. Like this is counterculture. Which is so unusual because traditionally for the last, I don't know what, 50 years, the left has been the counterculture, right? Like that's how they got the youth, right? By being counter and being the rebels or, whatever you want to say, like
anti-establishment.
The left was the anti-establishment, and now they're not anymore. They are the establishment.
I keep thinking of Rage Against the Machine, and
Oh,
how
God.
like fuck you, I won't do what you tell me, and like
Now
rally
it's,
around the family with a pocket full of shells and all that
Yeah.
shit.
that was the left.
And now they are rage on the behalf of the machine
Oh yeah.
because they're talking about like get the vaccine mandates good, and like I don't know, dude. They've come out and said some crazy lefty shit. I couldn't quote it to you exactly what they've said because I don't know all of it, but
Have you seen the meme where they had to get double vaxxed and wear a mask to go in and watch Rage Against the Machine? So they put on their mask, they showed their vaccine passport, walked in and started singing, "Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me."
right. The irony is lost. And the other part of it is they get in front of a crowd of people and they're all chanting together, "Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me."
Yeah,
But
the
you're
left
doing
is
exactly
the
what you're being told to do.
Yeah. The left is now the establishment. That's what they are. They are not anti-establishment. That is not rebelling. That is
Well, the
doing
other
what the
thing
fuck
is,
you're
like,
told.
You point out that cognitive dissonance that we're talking about right there. That's like glaringly obvious to anyone with a logical brain to think about the situation, that is a contradiction. And you bring that up to them, how do they react? They're not receptive. They're not like, "Oh, that's a really good point. I didn't think about that." They attack you for being the person to point. It's like that kid who points at the emperor and says, "Why is he not wearing any clothes?" And then the guards seize him. Why are they seizing him? Because they can't admit that the emperor has no clothes, because that's a contradiction of what the emperor says. The emperor says that he's wearing clothes. You can't say the emperor's wrong, right? Like that's the whole point of that analogy. Anywho, it's been a fucking interesting conversation there, laddies.
I've had fun tonight.
Yeah, it's been a good one.
Yeah.
I like it. We should do this more often. Oh wait,
Wait.
that's right. We do it twice a week on this channel and fucking bloody 3 times a week on your channel, you bastard.
Well, sometimes we do it more. I don't know. Sometimes I just get a bug up my ass to do like a fucking Tuesday night chat or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, I've been kind of down a little bit because of shit going on, and it's nice to have you guys to talk to. I got to admit that. It's nice to have people out there to listen and bounce ideas off of. It's
Definitely.
You were talking about it earlier, man. It's like it's like therapy in a way.
It is, yeah. Because somebody was saying on my chat, "Oh, thank you for what you do. You're entertained," or whatever they said, and I was like, "Thank you, I appreciate it. Glad you're entertained." But like you guys entertain me too. Like I like talking to y'all. It's fun. You know?
Are you not entertained?
Isn't that
Like-
why you are here?
I wouldn't be doing this. I don't think you would either if it wasn't enjoyable, if it didn't add something to our lives. You know what I mean? To talk to people and share information and do stuff. Like we ain't doing this like some channels. I'm not going to talk shit about other channels, but some channels that just do this shit for a paycheck or whatever. Like we don't do that. This is genuinely fun for us.
Yeah, it is. Chris Diaz says, "Remember buying DVD box sets on TV series on Black Friday?"
I
Remember?
do. I still have some.
Remember?
I still have a large portion of my DVD collection. Not all
Remember
of it.
Star Wars?
I'm at about 60%. I got about 60% of what I once had.
Dude, it's
So-
crazy to me. Like back in the day, we would buy all the VHS movies that you wanted, and then DVDs came out, right? And so, like, okay, now we got to get rid of all of our VHSs and buy DVDs, and like spend a fortune on VHSs, spend a fortune on a DVD player for the time, spend a fortune on DVDs. Then Blu-rays come out.
Yep.
And I never switched over to Blu-ray because at that point I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous. DVDs are good enough, you know? And like my brother didn't. He was like, "Oh, Blu-rays are better, and I must have Blu-ray everything." And so he spent another fortune on Blu-ray players and Blu-rays of every movie that he wanted and stuff like that. And it's like, now, does anyone even
It's
normally-
Ultra Blu-ray.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing. Here's the thing. Now, I, as a quote-unquote prepper, I have a VCR. I have a Blu-ray player that also plays DVDs. I have lots of Blu-rays and DVDs from going back 20 some odd years. And I have VHS tapes that I have collected over the years, including the original Star Wars trilogy. on VHS, which is worth a fuck ton of money right now. But I have it. And I got a bunch of old Disney movies on VHS and stuff, because someday if shit ever goes sideways and the internet's not there anymore, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've had this happen before. In fact, we just had this happen 3 or 4 nights ago. I was up late watching TV. My wife was up late and internet went out. What'd we do? Fucking threw in Doctor Strange on the Blu-ray player in our bedroom. Watched Doctor Strange. Hadn't watched it in a while. Had it on Blu-ray. Fucking threw it in. And then before you know it, internet came back up. They were doing some fucking maintenance on it, and everything was fine. I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong with having at least like a backup. Because again, just like I've talked about this before, when we had that freeze this last year, what was I able to do? I grabbed my 32-inch fucking flat screen TV. I grabbed my Blu-ray player. I grabbed a handful of fucking Blu-rays and DVDs. We went over to my brother and sister-in-law's house. I plugged that shit into my inverter in my car. We went in, we watched The Martian. And it brought everybody's spirits up. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it's something as simple as being able to watch a movie can really help when you're in bad times. You know what I mean? Bring a little normalcy to it, or get your mind off how much shit sucks. Because we were without power for fucking 4 days. You know, that gets on everybody after a while. So I'm telling you, everybody should at least have a DVD player with a handful of DVDs that they like to watch, if nothing else.
Dude, I used to have I used to do a lot of Pirate Bay, if you know what that means.
Oh yeah.
And I had a 2 terabyte external hard drive that I'd filled up completely with like handful of TV shows, every episode that I wanted to watch, like every movie that I could think of that was any good at any point. Like all of this other shit, dude, it was fucking 2 terabytes worth of information. And that was like my fucking power goes out, or not power, but internet goes out option for like, I've got anything that you would want to watch, you know, like you want to watch a movie here, think of a movie. I bet I have it. You know, it was like fucking almost to that level. And, the kids were fucking around one day and they spilled juice into the fucking, external hard drive and fried it. And I didn't have a backup. I gave a couple of people a copy of it because I talked it up so much, like, because I put like, I don't know, a year, something like that, a year of my time, like a couple hours here, a couple hours there, almost every day, putting this together and like updating the download list and clearing my shit off and checking stuff for viruses and going through the whole process, you know, so that I could have this fucking library of stuff. And there was a couple of them that were shitty, you know, like sometimes you download something and it's like the cam version and it sucks, or whatever's wrong with it, or the subtitles aren't right, or whatever it is, you know, like there was a couple of those in there, but for the most part, all of the movies were solid and good resolution and all that stuff. And yeah, they're all gone.
Well, here's just an
usually
example.
the subtitles would be all in Russian.
Yeah. Now, here's an example. Me and my wife went to Walmart the other day, just picking up a few things. We always go by the electronics because they always have that $5 bin. And a lot of times they have the $5 bin with like a DVD that has multiple movies on it. So we got one that had, for $5, Ready Player One, Geostorm. I don't remember the other two, but they were all 4 movies that it's like, some of them are good, some of them are not good, but they're all entertaining movies. And it was $5. And so we just threw that into the collection. You know, we just picked that stuff up once in a while. And now power goes out, whatever the fuck it is, I got some stuff. You know what I'm saying? I can plug in my fucking generator. I can hook it up to my inverter. I can do whatever. Or if just the internet goes out, hey, we can watch a fucking movie, you know? So,
well, now that the girl is out of here, I've got a little bit more space again. So I was thinking like maybe I can get that generator now.
Yeah, you should. You definitely should.
And you can go to Dollar Tree and pick up a bunch of Blu-rays for $1. Good stuff.
Yep.
Because I can clear out a spot in my closet and move it into that closet out in the hallway. But then I was also thinking, like, well, that closet out in the hallway is empty now. So now I can fill that up with food, too.
And you definitely should.
Because I've got my one fucking pantry, like, stuffed to the gills. The fridge and freezer stuffed to the gills. The chest freezer stuffed. Like, I don't know.
We just had to make room in one of our freezers for the fucking turkey. Which, by the way, guys, if you haven't bought a turkey yet,
I bought one this fucking
turkey. Jesus.
I have one in my freezer already.
I was only able to get like a 15-pound turkey. That's all that would fit in the spot I had left in my freezer. But I was like, fuck it, I'm jamming this thing in because They were 89 cents a pound at Walmart. And I'm like, I can't pass this up.
Butterball, right?
Yep.
Yep. Because the Butterballs were 89, and then the what's the other one?
Jenny.
Whatever the other ones were, 99 cents. And all at my Walmart, that's when we bought that DVD. That's one of the things we got while we were there. At my Walmart, the Butterballs, they didn't have anything over like 14 pounds. And I got a big family. So we had to go get the 99-cent ones, and they had a 22 pounder that I picked up.
See, mine had the bigger ones. I just didn't have room for it. I was like, I don't think I can fit it in. Like, I barely fit the 15-pound one in.
I live across the street from a Salvation Army that they give them out for free.
Oh, shit. There you go. Think smarter, not harder.
Yeah, no shit.
Yep.
Well, all right, guys. It's been an hour 45, which, that's about par for the course for the Gay Frog chat. We don't like to go too late here because there's usually stuff to do on Monday morning. But all that being said, I did have fun tonight, and I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We'll see you tomorrow night for the free-for-all chat on Never Enough Ammo's channel.
Penis.
I mean, I don't think there's a single person here who doesn't watch his channel too. So, I don't have to tell you where to go, but we'll see you there. Have a good night.
Later, guys.